Guys, and welcome back to Iron United's YouTube channel. My name's Anton Baker and I'm joined by Matt Flack and Alexander Harris. We are 3 minutes away from deadline day finishing, and as you can see I'm really motivated by lying on my couch, not bothered, not fussed, just fed up in general. So yeah, over to Matt. Matt, tell me what your thoughts are on this transfer window, or on this transfer deadline day.
The window was going well, and deadline day has just absolutely killed all the momentum. I mean, especially given the week we've had with the Newcastle game and then the whole Bilic in and out. It's been so depressing. You know, every time today we've been linked with a player, they've gone somewhere else. Add into it the whole Sacco. It's been awful to watch.
And Matt, you just mentioned earlier on a bit of news that just broke on the Sky Sports app.
Yeah. So,
please.
I'm sure you guys have all seen this by now, but we were literally sitting here getting ready to record, and it's come on Sky Sports that Sacco's staying at the club, and the club are actually looking to give him a new deal. You just couldn't write up, could you? He went on strike. He pulled an Olin Wingy, and he actually upped it and went to France for a medical. Wasn't agreed. Refused to come back. Went on strike. Came back to England and went to the horses in Chelmsford before he actually decided it was time to talk to the manager. I don't know who he spoke to, because obviously David Sullivan's in Spain. Great thing for deadline day. But apparently it's all been plastered over now and he's getting a new contract.
Alex, opinions? Go for it.
Well, where do I juggle? Where do I ride a unicycle? You know, this whole transfer deadline day has just been terrible. Don't get me wrong, like we have got other centre defensive midfielders. I mean, we can also bring Reece Oxford back on loan, but we've got no one that's top quality or world class. Reece Oxford is a great player in my eyes, but he's not at that ability yet. What about he can hold off the whole season? So it's been poor because we've got gaps all over the team. We've got gaps at the wings, we've got gaps at the forwards. Now, even with the Sacco in the club and in the running, we've still got gaps because the Sacco was out for 6 to 8 months last season. He was out for a long time. Andy Carroll was still injured, and Hernandez, it's just pray that he doesn't get injured, because if he does, you know exactly what's going to happen. Antonio or Ayu's going to go up top, and to be honest with you, that's the last thing I want. Defence, the last 3 games we've played, we can't just blame it all on the heart, no matter how much we can talk about it. We need to up our defence.
Guys, let's remember though, we're talking about Diafra Sacco, the player that we signed for quite a low price, low fee from Metz. The whole deal to bring him to the club was a mess in the original because...
Oh god, that was an absolute joke, wasn't it?
Yeah, like we were supposed to...
We signed him on loan?
Yeah, we signed him on loan, or... No, we wanted him on loan, and then Metz made a complaint for unsettling the player, and then we had to just go and buy him straight out.
Golden Sullivan wanted him,
yeah,
put an offer in to buy him. Allardyce didn't want him, so at the last minute they tried to change it to a loan, but he missed the first game of the season to come to a medical to us.
Yeah.
So they said, we're taking you to UEFA if you don't buy him.
Now we're talking about a player that came to West Ham, looked very good, looked decent. We thought we had a find
for about 6 months.
Yeah, got an injury, and his injuries kept coming. Came back a couple of times, kept getting injured. Then starting having problems off the field. Very obvious problems because they were very public in the eye, public to all of us, all the West Ham fans. He had an attitude problem. He's now, as you mentioned, Matt, he's flown himself to France. He's booked himself a medical. He's agreed personal terms. He's came back to West Ham, or Rennes have contacted West Ham. Like, what are you talking about? Like, it's the most embarrassing transfer situation I've seen in many years, if not my whole time of watching West Ham. And he's now potentially getting rewarded with
a new contract.
And his stats for playing games are awful. Like, what are we doing?
I mean, let's put this in perspective. Everyone jumps on the back of Andy Carroll that he's injury prone, get rid of him. Andy Carroll, how many games did Andy Carroll play last season? He must have been double figures, 15, maybe 20 games last season? So I think Sacco played 1. Yeah. As far as I remember, he played the game at Old Trafford from the start, scored in the first minute, and he was injured again.
Yeah.
And that is all we saw of him last year. One game.
Yeah.
So Alex, like, a point I want to make is you're talking about, or people are slagging off the fact that we're interested in injury-prone players. What? So everyone's happy with signing Sacco. So what about a player who wanted to come to us, Jack Wilshere? Like, why are we not signing up a player with that quality?
He was out of quality, but it's out of quality for a certain part of the season. I mean, Jack Wilshere is also injury prone. Again, it comes down to the depth of the squad. If we haven't got players to subside within a certain amount of the season, we're just going to corrupt again. We're going to fall through. We need players that are not injury prone. I mean, to bring in Jack Wilshere, as his quality he is, yes, he'll be great, and to take over Mark Noble will be fantastic. But
you couldn't play more than 60 minutes a game. I'm pretty sure Wilshere.
No, because he'll just end up his ankles will just end up cracking.
I mean, he did pretty well at Bournemouth last year. I think he played 30 games. He played most of the games until the back end of the season when he broke his ankle at Tottenham.
Yeah.
But that's because they properly he didn't start every game, did he? There's quite a few games for Bournemouth last year where he was on the bench and he came on for the last half hour.
Yeah. But I think the key message here is the fact that, or what is the key message?
The ball don't back Bilic. Clearly they don't.
Are we going with that? Like, is that it, or is it? I mean, I heard another fact today that Bilic has been offered up to 30 players. Are you telling me that if he's been offered up to 30 players, he's knocked back every single player when he's under pressure to win games in the Premier League? I'm not saying I don't believe the fact he was offered 30 players. I just don't believe he's knocked them back.
There's something we're not being told, because there's two sides to the story. Either Bilic has been given this list and he said they're not good enough, or he never got the list and the board went, that's too much money. Because that's what it comes down to.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because there's two sides to a story, and Bilic has been saying for the last 2-3 weeks he wanted one more player.
Yep.
Now it was supposed to be Carvalho, and then Gomez was the backup if we didn't get Carvalho, and it's just gone on Sky Sports now that Gomez isn't going anywhere. The Tottenham deal fell through. He's not going to Tottenham now either. And it was supposed to be Wilshere, and apparently Wilshere nearly went to Birmingham. Not being funny, Birmingham signed Alex Song on a free today.
Listen, I was just about to say,
I would have taken that.
I would have.
Let's not forget, it's only a year ago that he played for us.
Yeah.
I don't know, the last couple of months he wasn't in it, but that was because he clearly got told he wasn't being bought.
Yep.
I'm not being funny. I don't know whose idea it was to get rid of Song and bring in Neudvert, but that was just an absolute catastrophe.
Yeah, but remember, there was people that thought he was a great player. I mean, what?
To be fair to him, I think at the end of the season he played 2 games at holding midfielder and he done okay.
Two games, Matt.
Yeah, but the rest of the time he played right back.
Two games and he done okay.
Yeah.
Just answered.
But I mean, yeah.
Oh, nothing special there.
I did feel sorry for him because he spent most of the time he played at right back, which is Bilic's thing of playing people out of position when you've got right back sitting on the bench. Because if it wasn't Neudvert, it was Kouyaté. And Kouyaté manned up and told him, I don't want to play right back, and he got put back in midfield.
Yeah. So Alex, don't get me wrong, I think that there is issues obviously on the field with Bilic and his tactics and his decision to bring substitutions or change the game throughout a game. There's no doubts about that, but I personally think, and I don't know if you agree with me, that the problems stem further than just on the park, and it's off the park, and it's a lot of it down to our board.
I do agree. I mean, it goes anywhere. I mean, Payet threw a fit. Ravel Morrison back in the day threw a fit. That was under Golden Sullivan, right? When he threw a fit and he left with Sam Allardyce. I mean, and now Sacco's throwing a fit. But to reward him, you don't go out and get a spoiled child and reward him with chocolate and money, do you? No. So why are we doing that with Sacco?
That's your second reference to children and how you discipline them, but I quite like it. It's quite good.
No, it's true though. Why are we rewarding him for spending 2 days on strike in France?
Yeah.
What precedent has that now set the rest of the squad?
There was a story I read earlier that they did fine him 60k, and every time he was out of France and to miss a week's worth of training, they will fine him another week's wages.
But they've rewarded him by giving him an improved contract, so he's made
a new
It's
contract now.
just,
and you guarantee that this is a new contract, so he'll get a sign-on bonus.
Exactly. It's like they pulled him back and said, "Oh, you've got to be a good boy now."
Yeah.
Good boy.
Yeah.
Fucking.
And the only thing I can think of, the reason they give him a new contract, because they know they've got no one else to play. Like, they're so short of numbers.
Yeah.
It's like, it's almost like, Sanchez not wanting to play, or like today Mahrez has gone on strike at Leicester and he disappeared somewhere, but he's going to have to come back and play, and they're going to reward him for it. We've rewarded Sacco for going off, trying to get away, and then come back again. It's, oh, you came back. Oh, that's good. You could have more money.
It's ridiculous, man, if you ask me.
And we've missed out on so many players. Like, for me, there's players out there like Morales today. Everton said they were only going to listen to permanent deal. As you said earlier on, Matt, when we were talking before we were recording, we probably could have got him for about, what, 8 or 9 million maybe?
Yeah.
Like, what's that in today's market for a
he's
player
not
of
in
that standard?
Koeman's plans either. Koeman said he's not in his plans.
Yeah. Teams need a shake-up. Like, players need a shake-up, and a player like Zaza comes to West Ham, doesn't work out, goes to Valencia and starts scoring goals. Like, some players just react differently to moves, and Morales for me would have been a decent shout. But out with that, like, we're empty. I've always said we're quite strong in midfield, and I still believe we're reasonably strong in midfield. What do we lack in the midfield though?
It's where in the midfield, because I think we've got enough in the centre, but at the wings, we're so bare, it's untrue.
Yeah.
You've got Antonio, Lanzini, Ayew, and Arnautovic to cover, say the 3 guys behind the centre forward. So that gives you 1 sub.
I think that's why he wants to play wing backs a lot as well. So we're very, very limited on the forwards that we have to progress forward. So we're trying to play wing backs in central football.
You're already looking at maybe having to say Masuaku's going to be a left winger rather than left back. You'll end up playing Masuaku and Creswell at the same side.
I wouldn't mind that, to be honest with you.
Yeah, to be fair, I wouldn't mind that, but it's the fact that I think they've stumbled across that more than decided that that's going to be the option.
Yeah.
Like, they've kind of maybe got a little bit lucky with that whole situation there. But listen, if we kind of move it forward, like, what is Bilic realistically going to be our manager by January? What do you honestly believe, Alex?
Well, to be honest with you, it's like Bilic, and you got to do something with the board. Because like I say, it's not just Bilic, it's the whole board, because there's something seriously wrong with the team. It's like we said in the last video. I mean, yes, there's not enough players being bought in, there's not enough enthusiasm in the team, there's not enough passion in the team, and the whole team is just becoming a shambles, and it is becoming a circus. Because it's becoming more of an entertainment show. I mean, 1 minute Sacco's not wanting to play for our club and he's in France. The next minute he's been rewarded like a spoiled brat. Yeah. You know what I mean? To blame it on just Bilic is just not right.
There has to be something wrong at the squad, because it's not the first time. I mean, I'm sure everyone by now has seen the comments Snodgrass made.
Yeah.
But it's not the first time a player's left on loan somewhere else and slated the training.
Yeah,
Reece Oxford did the same thing in January. He turned up at Reading, and Yap Stam said he'd never seen a player so unfit.
But I also, sorry, I don't mean to interrupt. I also agree with that as well. I mean, you have a look at Antonio going from right wing to right wing back, and then right back. He wasn't happy there, was he? I mean, Snodgrass was played out of position, and there's plenty of other players that were played out of position whereabouts they didn't feel comfortable in, so we didn't get the best out of them. Snodgrass plays comfortable, playing in the centre on the right. Yeah, don't get me wrong, when he was playing on the right, he wasn't great. But that's because he's just come off playing in a position where he didn't want to play on the right. And you look at it this way, it's like you can't really bring the best out of a player until they're comfortable. And it's the same as Antonio. We've seen Antonio plenty of times. When he was playing right back, he was losing the ball in a defensive area, and the next thing you know, we'll concede a goal. When we was playing right wing forward or right wing, he was scoring goals left, right, and centre.
But do you actually think, come January, Bilic will still be our manager? Do you honestly think that he's got till the Tottenham game, or do you think they're going to give him the run till January, or maybe December, and see what's out there? Because do you actually think they see him as their manager long term?
Well, apparently he's got 4 games.
Yeah.
So he's going to have to get 7 points at least out of the next 4 games, which includes the Tottenham game.
Out of those 4 games, it's going to go from there. It depends on the next 4 games results. Like Max has said, and then from there, he's got until January. It's like a little step at a time, and have our looks of things. So
the problem is, is there's no one available to come in. This is the problem.
Yeah.
They've now put themselves in. If they won't spend 5 million more to buy Carvalho, are they going to go and spend the 6 million? It's apparently the clause is to get Benitez out of his contract at Newcastle.
Yeah. But then you look at, just to bring that up there, the Carvalho. I mean, how to rub salt in wounds is when he goes and plays for Portugal tonight. He's unfit, and he starts and he scores and he sets up a goal. Like, just.
And the thing is, he's not an attacking midfielder; he's a holding midfielder.
Exactly, but he's obviously. I mean, did you see his assist? I've seen his assist, and it's just quality. He's just in the right place at the right time again. He's just another one of those players. But then someone had tweeted earlier on and put one of those things saying West Ham are in advanced talks with Carvalho. Like, get the deal done, move on. Like, if they got that deal done, they could have just settled things a little bit more.
Yeah.
The advanced talks it was stupid because they've been in advanced talks for about 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Carvalho had agreed $100,000 a week. He wanted the move. He wanted to move to the club. Sporting did want the move because apparently I read that if he didn't move today, they've got to pay him £5 million as part of his contract for a loyalty bonus.
Yeah.
So they wanted him off, but they were $5 million apart in the fee, and neither Gold and Sullivan wouldn't put the money in. Sporting wouldn't lower their demands. Gold and Sullivan thought if we hold it on, their thing was they thought Sporting was going to lower their demands today because no other club went in for him.
Yeah.
They were like, look, you're demanding £40 million for this player, saying he's a world-class midfielder. If he was that good, someone else would have come in for him.
Yeah.
That was their driving force, to do $5 million less.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's pretty stupid because 3-4 years ago, maybe even 2, Chelsea went in for him. All these big teams went in for him, and they went in for him for a certain reason. Since that day, they've been on form, and the reason why these big Premier League clubs haven't gone in for him is probably because they've found someone to replace him that is younger, or they've found someone there that can be solid for the time being. So they don't really need Carvalho because Carvalho wants to go to a team where basically we get first team football. Because I'm not being funny, playing against Matic, who do you think will get first team?
Yeah, well,
exactly. You know.
God,
I would have gone to 5 grand.
This is probably going to be one of the most depressing videos, guys, you can see. But to be honest, we're just putting one out because we just want to let you know that we're feeling the pain massively.
You're not alone.
Yeah. I don't know what everyone's thoughts are with the game coming up against Huddersfield. As long as we get some players back, we've got to be motivated for the game. But it's got
to be a Tottenham. It's got to be like the Tottenham game last year.
Yeah. The players.
It's gonna have to. Everyone's gonna have to, like, regardless of whether you're Bilic in, Bilic out, balled in, balled out. Everyone's gonna have to just pull together for the 90 minutes, forget everything else, and get a result. Because that at the moment we're already in relegation mode from last season. We're already at that point. 3 games in.
Matt, was you mentioned earlier on Reece Oxford? I mean, there's a prime example of a player that came in, was fantastic in his first game, got dropped, never to be seen again in the first team. Well, 2 years later, shipped out, and like, what's to say we just don't put Martinez up top with Hernandez? Why do we have to play one up top? Like, why? Why don't we just give a second striker?
Well, they looked, but I know it was Chelmsford, and then Chelmsford are a League 2 team, but the shape of the team looked better when they played Ayew and Saka up front together, because they had 2 across the midfield, 2 wingers and 2 attackers.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, if you go back to the Newcastle game, they were playing Hernandez up front, playing long balls.
Yeah, thinking Carroll was there. Where's Carroll? Hello.
Yeah,
like, Hernandez isn't going to win. Like, if you put it over the fullback's head into the space behind him, you've seen in the games already this season, like, Hernandez works his arse off more than anyone else.
Yeah.
Which isn't supposed to be the case. He's a centre forward. Like, he's supposed to be there scoring the goals. Everyone's supposed to do the work for him, especially when you're playing one up front. But he's the one putting the effort in, and yet you're played up long balls to him. Like, he's not going to win the headers. We need to play 2 up front.
So moving forward, are we given, or are we filling the empty space in the squad with the youth?
He's going to have to. Like, it's going to get to the point, like, we know injuries are going to come because it's West Ham. If we don't have 4 or 5 players sitting on an injury table, it's not a normal season. So, like, Nathan Holland, Martinez, I mean, I feel sorry for Rice. I'm worried now that he's just what's going to happen to Rice because he made that one mistake at Newcastle when Bilic
subbed him
half time took him off.
Yeah.
There are three strong points to Martinez, Hernandez, and Lanzini. 2 up top, 1 in the middle. Maybe even Martinez slightly behind Hernandez. The fact is that they all speak Spanish, so they can all have a clear understanding to each other and how to attack and get things forward. Yes, everyone else speaks English, blah blah blah. But the point is that if those 3 work as a unit to pull forward and attack, I guarantee we'll get plenty of goals because their communication will be immense because they all speak the same language. You know, yes, Hernandez used to play for Man United, which means that he's got Premier League experience, is what he's shown us in the second game in, you know. But we're still lacking that strain, that hold, the strength underneath him. We need to get the ball to him. We need to find a way, you know.
Well, it's official, guys. It's finished now for a while. Transfer window's done. We're not signing any more players. It's now the end of the summer window. We've got to get from now till, what is it?
January the 1st.
January the 1st.
January the 1st, yeah.
Yeah.
Back up. So for me, I mean, I'm just reading news there that Swansea have re-signed Wilfred Boney. I don't care what anyone says, I would have taken him. I don't know if you would. Alex, yeah, no?
Yeah, I saw it was like 12 million quid.
Yeah.
He's a good replacement for Carroll.
Yeah, he wasn't.
Well, they were
he
saying
wasn't-
that.
he wasn't given a chance
didn't-
at Man City, and then really was he given a chance at Stoke? Was he really?
Yeah, so he didn't really set the well like at Stoke, but then that was sort of.
Yeah.
I think he got a couple of games at the first half of the season. Second half of the season, he just didn't play, did he?
No.
And then moving into the next 3 months are going to be tough 3 months. We need to get we're 3 games in, we're 3 losses in, and now it's time for the youth to come in and mix things up with the experience that we've got. Now, the reason why I'm so deflated about it is because I don't know if it's going to happen. If I had a suspicion or could suspect that we were going to give youth a chance, I could be slightly more motivated than the way I feel. I'm glad that Rice has had a chance to play. I'm worried the fact he was brought off at half time. We've got players there desperate. You've seen Tony Martinez's tweet today. Like, he is desperate to play in that first team. He wants to be thrown in that first team. And for me personally, I'm putting a big shout out there. I want him to start with Hernandez up top, maybe just in behind Hernandez for the Huddersfield game, because I tell you something right now, that will give me, and I believe a lot of fans, a boost that we need. Thoughts, Matt?
Well, let's be honest. They can't do any worse than what we saw at Newcastle. There's flat out they can't.
Yeah.
They can't do any worse, and he's going to have to. Like, for me personally, Andy Carroll aside, Martinez is going to have to be second choice centre forward. Because Antonio's not a natural finisher. Ayew, I'm not even sure what Ayew is anymore. Like, I'm really not. Like, last season he had a couple of games where he played up front and he got them like one-touch tap-ins when right place, right time. And then Bilic shipped him out on the wing again. He's not a winger. He's clearly not a winger. He's not a number 10. He's not a centre forward. I don't really understand where he's supposed to be playing. So he's going to have to bring in Martinez at some point.
Yeah.
Even if it's coming off the bench.
But with all these players fit back in our team, does that then give authorization for Bilic to try Ayew in his natural position? Because I tell you what, if you look at him when he did play from Swansea and he was banging in goals, he was in the position which was straight through the middle, and that's something we kind of need. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but it might have to if all our players are fit. Alex?
Oh, I don't know anymore, to be honest with you. The club,
We're all like pulling our hair out.
I don't understand why Antonio gets played out of position even though he's scoring goals. I don't understand why they pull Ayew on the wings if he's got no legs. I don't understand why most of this stuff is happening. Like, Ayew should be playing in his position. He should be playing just behind the strikers, in my opinion, because he's got no legs. This is what Rich said the other week. He can't run that much. You
need to play him as part of a front two. That's my feeling.
Yeah, or just behind him. Like you can't really have him on the wings. Really, like Lanzini's best behind the back two, front two. Sorry, behind the back two. No, he's in goal. Lanzini's best behind the front two, but he's better. He's also good on the wings. Sorry, but he's better than Ayew on the wings. So I'll personally have Lanzini on the left as long as he's happy there. Ayew in the middle. Two up top, which will be.
The thing is now, how are you going to fit everyone in? This is the problem.
What, when they're fit?
Yeah, because you're saying about like Ayew and maybe Hernandez up top. Well, what about Arnautovic? I know he's still got a game left on his ban.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you something though. For me personally, something needs to change for Huddersfield. So it needs to be a right massive big shake up for the team, for the squad.
I would play.
I don't know if you are feeling it. I'm not even taking this from. I'm not even going to take this from Twitter, but if you were on Twitter today, and when this video goes out, it'll be yesterday, it was a really negative day for West Ham on Twitter, but not every single West Ham fan is on Twitter, so you'll realise that it was just a crappy day maybe to be a West Ham fan. We weren't signing any players. Our under-23 development squad got smashed
7-2 by Spurs.
4 penalties missed to, all that crap. We wanted players. Like, for me, fans are just pissed off. They're going to go into the Huddersfield game, they're not going to be up for it, and think something needs to change, and I think that needs to happen on the park for that game. Because if you see that team sheet, or even if you look at that subs bench and you see a selection of youth players, that's for me going to give me the pickup that I need, and think, right, okay, things might be okay because we're starting to give youth a bit of a chance, The
bench is going to be a massive thing. So I mean, I don't know if you guys ever remember the bench from the Man United game, first game of the season. And the bench was literally like, I think it was Adrian, Byram, Font, Collins, Creswell, Rice, I think, and Sacco. He literally had like 5 defenders on the bench.
Yeah.
And you looked at it, and you knew at that point that he turned up to try and get a point.
Yeah.
Like, there was no ambition in that team. He had 5 defenders on the bench and Sacco.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And if we turn up without a Huddersfield and we have 5 defenders on the bench, it's already going to set the tone for a bad game.
All I can say is towards the Huddersfield game, we've got a COYI, Lanzini, and Antonio back.
Don't know about Lanzini.
Oh, and remember we signed Diafra Sacco and awarded him with a new contract, so he'll probably be starting. We keep forgetting the fact that he's fit, so there's a strong possibility he's going to get.
Apparently, everyone's fit.
Yeah.
For the Huddersfield game, everyone's supposed to be fit. Apart from, I don't know about Lanzini.
Yeah.
Apparently, Lanzini got sent home from the Argentina squad.
Well, I'll tell you something there. You've made a good point there on Lanzini. He's not gone, so there's a positive.
Yeah, it is, but I'm still. Isn't he supposed to be signing a new contract for about 3 months?
Probably, but
it keeps saying like it's going to get done, and it hasn't been done as far as I'm aware. I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure he hasn't signed a new contract yet. Like, he was supposed to be getting this bumper contract to bring him in line with Arnautovic and Hernandez.
I don't know. I'm getting so depressed. I'm sorry here for being. I'm just looking at the score, Portugal 5-1. I'm just thinking of William Carvalho. I'm just above it on the sign. It says Tottenham signed Fernando Llorente. It's just Tottenham signed a striker. Then Swansea re-signed Wilfred Boney. It's taking my mind off of everything right now. It's just frustration kicking out. I'm really concerned that this video is going to be so negative that we probably should try and wind it up and finish it and give the fans something to look forward to. And
well, guys, we beat Cheltenham in the cup, so we've got another cup run coming up against Bolton.
Yeah, guys, don't forget, you can get your adult tickets are £5, and is it adults are a £10 and kids are a £5?
10% off your top if you get a name on the back. So remember all that stuff.
Yeah.
Hold on a
minute.
Nice we're going to sign Messi, but we've got some season tickets to sell. Sorry, what was that? Yeah. So
look, we're sitting here all doom and gloom, but I mean, 3 weeks ago or 3 games ago, we were talking about we were one of the most successful teams in the transfer window. It's just, you couldn't have asked for a worse start, really. And that is down again, like last season. It's a mixture of like everything, and at least this time we can't blame the stadium. No one can sit there and say it's the stadium because they played 3 away games.
Well, guys,
unless that is the problem.
I just got some great news in. We've re-signed Colton Cole.
Oh God! Do you know what? I would take that.
Oh,
At least he comes on and gives a bit of heart. Do you know what I mean? Compared to what the last couple of players have been.
Yeah. Oh God, don't! I'm already worried that we're going to get to like November and we're playing Collins up front.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised.
Oh my God! Remember that? Jesus, what happened
We
there?
have to play
Right.
Collins up front because we've got no centre forwards.
I saw that.
I tell you what, guys, let's wrap up this video because we've got obviously a week and a bit till the next game comes up. So what we'll do is we'll get a preview out for the Huddersfield game. So this has been our second episode of Gift of a Gab. Please make sure you subscribe at the bottom of the channel. Tomorrow there should be an announcement to see who's going to win the top that's signed, thanks to our partners from Umbro. And then on the weekend we will announce the winners of the Tottenham tickets as well. So yeah, I just think it's all doom and gloom. So let's end it with the doom and gloom. I've been Anthony.
I've been Matt.
And I've been Alex, and we are Irons United.